Oh, okay, we'll do that now. Welcome to the show. It's about to start in about 20 seconds. First letter tonight. My wife of 2 years, who I've known for a total of 3, is starting to be a real embarrassment. Second letter tonight, coming all the way from Toowoomba for the first time. They've only been married 20 months, but she's sleeping in the spare room already. And the last letter tonight, you may say it's bloody-minded, but she couldn't argue that it wouldn't work. Boat people, he's got a solution. So he reckons all this terrific-looking panel coming up in about 20 seconds. Don't go away. See you then.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sweet and Sour. Lovely to have your company. And who's on the panel tonight? That's what you want to know. First up, hello Candice Barnes.
Hey Mitch, how are you?
I'm well, mate.
Pleasure to see you.
How's the weather in this fair city
Oh,
of Perth?
Been pretty lovely lately. We're now heading into a second driest year on record here.
What is
officially.
that about? Summer's started early. I had to put my car in for air conditioning the other day, and the guy said to me, "You wouldn't believe it, I put everybody on holidays because it doesn't get hot this time of the year." And
Yeah.
I'm cactus.
The science behind it, if you've got a quick 10 seconds, high pressure systems have been sitting a little further south than they normally do. So it's been blocking the cold fronts that have been coming through, that have not been coming through, so we're not getting that rain.
You said all of that without a synoptic chart. How terrific is that?
That's what
you
I do.
know your stuff.
I do know my stuff.
Oh,
that's
mate,
right.
good to have you here.
Pleasure, thank you.
Jess, welcome for the first time.
Oh, thank you.
And not only do you model, but you're also a clever kid because you're at ECU,
Yes, I am.
which is Edith Cowan University for those people who are watching from other states. What are you studying?
I'm doing a Bachelor of Mass Communications.
What does that mean?
Oh, okay. Well, it's actually a very broad degree, so it's actually given me the ability to mix in all sorts of different units. Like I've been doing WAPA units, which I've been doing acting, I've been doing journalism, I've been doing broadcasting.
You're just
I've been
having
doing
fun.
Oh yeah, I'm just doing
It's
them.
a-
Yeah,
Can we
mixing it all up.
Can we all enrol and have fun like that?
Yeah, well, it's not all fun.
Okay,
Yeah,
tell me anything.
so-
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hello, Mum.
Hi.
How's my AJ?
I'm great.
You getting any sleep, mate?
Oh, a little bit, a little bit. Yeah,
How old
about
now?
an hour a night. He's 1. He turned 1 the other day.
Wow.
So he's walking and
Did you say
he's
you're
so
getting
adorable.
1 hour a
I'm
night?
getting one. No, I'm getting up once a night. Yeah.
Once a night?
Yeah.
And that's just to go to the loo.
Yeah. No, he's adorable. He's worth it. He's worth every minute.
Terrific.
Yeah, lovely.
Lovely to have you back.
Thank you.
Hello, Perrie Taylor.
Hello, Mr. Mitch.
How are you?
Fantastic, thank you.
And since the last we saw you, what have you been up to?
Not sleeping much, no.
You had a baby since the
no,
last time.
no.
No?
I
What's your excuse? Who's keeping you up then?
Oh, lot of filmmaking, lot of sets.
Terrific. Hang on, did you write one of these letters? No.
Someone's having
Well, we're going to talk more in the break.
Let's move on.
We've got to go straight into our letters. Here we go. First letter comes to us from Mount Waverley in Victoria. Dear Sweet and Sour, I always remember my mum rolling her eyes and sighing whenever my dad did something in public or in an extended family gathering that wasn't exactly kosher. Whether it was discarding his knife and fork in favour of his fingers or letting people know exactly what he thought, where it probably wasn't the occasion that called on such honesty, or any number of indiscretions, he constantly embarrassed my mum. She loved him though, and he never meant and never did anyone any harm. It's just that he was a real character. My wife of 2 years, who I've known for a total of 3 years, is starting to be a real embarrassment to me in company, but she doesn't have many, if any, of those redeeming qualities my dad had had. She can't use a knife and fork properly. She can't converse with anyone in any depth properly, so drinks instead, which creates other issues. When she does chat, it's with a bogan slant. She says whiff instead of with. She mumbles so much that people give up asking her to repeat herself. All of this makes for a very negative view on the world that she has of people. I admit to falling head over heels when I met her while I was working in the country. Once we shifted down to the city, I noticed how inappropriate and ill-fitting she was with all my friends, relations and associates. Can I save this relationship? Should I try? And if I do try, how do I overcome her very negative views on everything? Can we save this one, AJ? It comes to us from Dennis of Mount Waverley.
This one gets the country girl in me and the romantic in me so angry.
Are you a country girl?
I am a country girl. Well, I was actually, you know, I'm actually from England, but then, yeah, raised in the country.
Well, that's a country.
South. I was raised south as well, so yeah, from the country girl. But I mean, were you betrothed? Did you not meet her? Did you not spend time with her, take her out for dinner?
Yeah, but it was all up there where the
What?
standards were probably...
I just don't understand. Most of this is pretty common things, the way she speaks. So he never had a communication
probably
conversation
all
with
speaking
her.
like that wherever he was.
Well, maybe. I just think he's so... I don't even have words for it. The Queen eats with her hands. I'll just let you know that she does actually
How do you know
accept picking up chicken. Well, actually, we've actually been to a race. My mum races horses, and we have been to a function where we were informed that the Queen will pick up her chicken by the bone. I told you I was
But you're
born in
allowed to.
England. You're allowed to, but he
Chicken
says
you're allowed to.
his dad eats with his fingers, and it's one of the bad things. Like maybe, what is he, shoveling up bolognese with his hands? Like probably a little bit more information. I just think you're a snob, and I think she's better off without you.
Asparagus and bread rolls are the other two things you're allowed to pick up with your fingers. Did you know that, Perrie?
And fish fingers, that's why they're called fingers. But I'm sorry, but I just think, you know, she shouldn't be with you, and I think it's appalling that you've written this letter in and that she's probably at home still in starry land.
So
thinking
she
that
should
you're a
get rid of
wonderful
you,
man.
according
I
to
think so.
AJ.
I just think you're appalling. I think you're a snob, and I think you're appalling.
She a snob? Who's at fault here?
I'm with Dennis because bogans give me the heebie-jeebies.
He married her.
They don't speak fully. They wear a lot of polar fleece.
I'm anti-bogan.
They put lame stickers
married
on their
her.
Commodores.
They wear a lot of what?
polar fleece. Polar fleece.
Flannel.
Flannelette.
It's awful. It's an appalling fabric. He's married outside his race. Bogans are, you know, a very select community of people.
She's a bogan.
He's made a mistake.
She speaks with a bogan slant. The thing is, bogans are a dedicated bunch. You'll never see them abandon Brocky. They'll never abandon their Commodore. They'll never abandon their trip to Bali.
So
and
they have
she
redeeming features.
She won't abandon him. He's
on a good
he's got to
wicket.
stay up.
So what does he do?
Oh, he should deal with it.
still married her.
You got to grow up.
Yes.
You made the decision.
Deal. You married it.
Commitment. Righto, Jess, what do you say to this one?
I'm kind of heading towards what Perrie was saying. The whole bogan thing.
No good?
It doesn't work for me. Yeah.
What happens if she was one of your mates and she'd say to you at the pub?
It's not about her, it's
You know,
about he married her.
What
He
happens?
still chose her.
He did choose it, but you're allowed to make mistakes in life,
I
aren't you?
suppose.
Do you move on? What happens if your bogan mate, said to you, "Oh, my husband's really pressuring me because I don't speak
Well,
properly"?
first of all, no offence to all the bogans out there. I don't associate with bogans.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're a selective group. They don't
Yeah,
associate
they wouldn't
outside
be.
their race.
Yeah,
There's
and
a lot of them
Chosen
around.
one.
yeah. Well, I actually think that maybe if you want to try, you know, save this relationship, why don't you enroll her in etiquette classes? I mean,
Good idea.
that could
Take
work.
the
I
initiative.
mean, you said you fell head over heels in love with this girl. So, I mean, there's got to be something deeper than this behaviour that she's portraying, you know?
Enroll her in
That
classes.
lady.
It's the
Yeah,
adventure in
so,
manipulating
I mean, if
your life
if
through
it's
the
worth
project.
saving, you know?
I like that. Etiquette classes. Can you trump that, Candice?
I think that people are forgetting a vital thing. It seems like he reveres his mum, and that's a great thing. But your mum loved your dad despite his faults. You're not perfect either.
Ah.
Do you put the
Not
seat
get it.
down every time? Do you hang up your wet towels? You know,
Do you burp and
do you
snore
burp? Do you do all things that maybe she
Probably beats him at burping.
doesn't like but can stand?
Well, there's
Yeah.
two sides to every story as well. I mean, I'm sure he has a few little pet hates that, you know, she doesn't like about him, you
She
know?
was big game to open her mouth.
If you can't love
Well,
her,
if she's a bogan, she would open her mouth.
Yeah, she probably
They speak their mind.
Bogans are honest.
I have no problem
Yeah.
with bogans whatsoever.
Yeah,
no
take the
problem
bogan
at all.
off the table.
No
he
problem.
Still chose
But if
her
you
and loves
can't love
her.
someone
Yeah.
warts and all, then you
Yeah,
shouldn't
that's
love
the point. We don't have to
Yeah.
love
Then
her.
you don't
Hang
love
on,
her.
hang on. So everybody's saying, would you say get rid of him?
Get
Etiquette class.
she get rid of
Etiquette
him,
class?
or
Yeah, everybody's saying work on it.
I think there's
What's-
ways that you can.
What's Perrie saying? Work on it or get rid of her?
The Eliza Doolittle project.
Oh, work on it. There you go. Everybody's saying work on it.
work on it for sure.
All right, Dennis, Mount
You made your
Waverley.
bed.
Your fault. Work on it. When we come back, we're going to be talking about a relatively recently married couple who have already taken to permanently sleeping apart. Happy marriage? Don't know. Their mum writes in. Don't go away. We're talking about that soon. Ooh, that was a good discussion. What was it? Okay, we're back, ladies. We're to Canada now. Hello, welcome back to Sweet and Sour. If you'd like to send us a letter, and that music that you're listening to right now is Dancing All the Way Down by Wing It. And I'm told that if you like it, you can click onto MySpace on the net, myspace.com/bandwingit, and you can look it up. They're going to be on the show in a couple of weeks. But as I was saying, if you'd like to send us a letter, send it to the address that's appearing on your screen right now, which is letters@sweetandsour.net.au, and every letter we do read out, we're going to send you to the movies, courtesy of Natalie Cameron and NRC Communications. And the movie we're sending you to this week is a vampire flick. Another vampire flick. But this one apparently is a really good one called Let Me In. And it's based on a German movie.
Oh, so that's a remake.
Yeah,
the right
an
one?
American remake.
The German one is like full on.
Have you seen it?
I've seen the German one, yeah.
Well, this one's the one that the Americans have
Film
decided
major
to
at
put in.
uni, yo.
Ah,
Yeah.
oh, we'll have you back.
Hello.
Here we go. Hello,
you.
Mitch and panellists. My son has only been married 20 months, but already I think there's a problem. He sleeps permanently in the spare bedroom while his wife sleeps in the main bedroom. He says it's because he keeps her awake at night with snoring, but I know that's not true because he never snored when he lived with us. More than that, they have a little 5-month-old baby, so they really didn't have to make up any excuses, but they did. He's also spending more and more time after work visiting us or his brother's family, which seems odd when you have a little 5-month-old to go home to. Additionally, he now sleeps in the room with the computer, and that's the reason he's always so tired, I figure, not the baby. It's all so odd, and I know you may say that it's none of my business, but I am a mum, and as any mum knows, you just can't help worrying about your children out of love. I'm just wondering if there is anything I can do for them rather than just sit on my hands. My gut instincts are usually pretty good in these matters, but I may be a little too close to see the real picture. And it comes to us from Iris of Toowoomba in Queensland. Candice, what's really going on here?
That's a nice letter, Iris. And I understand that, you know, you have a gut instinct, and I understand that you really want to protect your baby, but however good your gut instinct is, and however much you do want to protect your baby, you can't. He's a grown man. He's made life decisions. You don't know the dynamics of their relationship. You're not there. You're not in the bedroom every night. Here's hoping not. I know of couples that sleep separately, mostly for convenience reasons. One's getting up earlier than the other. Sometimes a partner just cares enough about their partner to give them a restful sleep.
He's not snoring, he's on the computer.
Well, as for the snoring...
What's happening?
As for the snoring, if he is snoring, when was the last time you actually slept in the same room as your son or close by? Because people who you may not think snore... well, but even then in a family household, you know, you're in a separate room. People... You might not be able to hear someone snoring from a separate room, but when you're lying next to them, it can be freaking annoying.
Oh, you want to go back to the snoring, but she doesn't believe it. He's on the computer. Who's he
But
talking
she
to
doesn't
on
know.
the computer? Come on, Jess.
Yeah, I was actually, it's funny you mentioned that because the fact that he's chosen to sleep, he's actually swapped rooms from the spare room into the computer room really takes action with me. Yeah, definitely, because I mean, Facebook, I mean, who is he talking? I mean, there's Skype, video camera, I mean, there's so many other, you know, relationships that can go on from that. And the fact that he's so tired.
Do you think the missus might have said, right, it's me or the computer, and whoever you've got on that, so you go and sleep in there?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he starts off in the spare room and wakes up in the computer room.
Oh.
Might be having a little
Might be the
online
same room.
relationship.
Might be the same room. Maybe he sleeps in the computer room. I don't know. Perrie.
I think Iris's most powerful tool here may be her teapot.
Very good.
As you know, a female, I can say that girls sometimes enjoy a bit of a heart-to-heart, you know, a bit of a chat, and so I think that perhaps Iris should invite her daughter-in-law and her new grandchild round for a cup of tea and a biscuit, and you know, not force things out, but just let things flow. And if there's a problem, then I think it'll flow out.
Ooh, chat to the daughter.
Absolutely, girls love to talk, and
Because of
sometimes
a girl bond.
and maybe she needs to talk.
Do you think she might not be able to do that, and that's why she's written to us? if she could, she would, I'm sure of it. What do you say, AJ?
I think, Iris, you're a wonderful woman, and I think your son is very lucky. And
Everybody thinks you're a wonderful woman.
I think your daughter-in-law's one. I've had a baby, so out of all of you, I can talk. Only because I know for one point, there's a few factors here. Is a baby still in the room with them? We don't know that. Is she co-sleeping with the baby? Is his job quite demanding? Because my baby woke up at 5 months old, my baby was still in the bedroom with us. And I know for a fact waking every 2 hours disturbed my husband, and he needed to concentrate at work. So he did sleep in the lounge room for a little while.
He's not going home after work, he's going to their place and
the
his
reason
brother's.
for that is I'm stressed out, babies are hard work, you're very tired.
He's
you get home and husband, take the baby, I'm over it. Like, you can be quite stressed out, and it can be quite a lot. And I know for a fact sometimes the husband goes, do you know what? I don't really want to go home. I've known of dads who drive to a park and read the newspaper for 30 minutes before going home.
Just chill out.
You have no free time. My husband's bottom hits the couch and I'm like, could you grab some wipes just for a minute? And it's exhausting. And luckily he didn't disappear after work. He came home. But in the end, you know, in the first 5-6 months, it's hard work. And she might be going through postnatal depression. He might not be coping with it. There may be an issue there. I go with the teapot, get her over, have a chat to her. See, I don't know, we don't know your relationship with her, but have a chat, because it could be the online bad stuff, but it could just be it's a baby in the house and it's hard, bloody work.
Situation normal, perhaps, Iris.
But do the teapot, have a drink with her and just see if she's okay.
Offer to take the baby now
Offer
and
to take
then.
the baby.
Absolutely.
You know,
give
so
them
that-
some couple
Yeah,
time
you can
together.
have a
Date
romantic,
night.
you know, weekend or something.
Everyone needs
some
to
time
meet
off.
On the internet.
But you're allowed to
Yeah.
interfere.
When
just-
we come back,
Without the internet.
we're going to be talking about possible boat people solutions. Don't go away. Possible boat people solutions. Possible. Welcome back, and here we go straight into the last letter of the night. Dear panellists, look, it's bloody easy. Not one of our pointless political leaders has the balls to do what's necessary. I've not heard a single solution come out of the Polly's mouths regarding the boat people. They are illegals, so send the strongest message back to where they're coming from. If we torpedoed one boat full of illegals, that would get all the left-wing media into action, protesting, and cause a huge worldwide wave condemning Australia for heartless actions. But it would bloody well do the trick. The smugglers would be out of business for good, because not a soul would want to buy tickets on a trip to certain death. There it is, simple. You may say it's bloody minded, but could you really argue that it wouldn't work? Go on, read this out on your show if you've got the guts, and it comes to us from Peter B of Ashfield, right here in Western Australia. Terrific. All right, Perrie.
Peter, don't you think that the world economy is struggling enough without trying to put people smugglers out of business? I think you should have a heart.
What about the Australian economy? Half the people would say, you heartless bastards, we're going to trade with them. They're only interested in money.
I don't even feel like warranting this letter with an answer, to be honest.
He is bloody minded. I don't see, anyway.
He sounds like a bogan to me.
He does sound like a bogan.
Yeah.
He certainly does.
I've got just the girl for him.
What letter did she come from? It's not an easy one to solve, Perrie, but what do you do? Do you think bombing people out of the world or killing people is the way to go?
Absolutely not.
What does it say about Australia if we did something like that? Is that something that our country stands for?
It's quite un-Australian, to be honest. You know, mates this and that, jar of Vegemite, so and so. It's un-Australian to do, and Candice mentioned earlier that there are a lot more of them than there are of us.
Yeah.
They'd come down hard. I don't think we could do that.
No, I don't think so. And there's a lot more people flying in. There's 54,000 people who get lost in Australia every year who fly in from very friendly countries rather than people who are struggling, coming from Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, etc. AJ?
Well, I mean, there's one thing is if you know your economics, all countries have to take a portion of refugees, and also it's sort of there's this whole balance in life to keep the economy going, and
These are
this
illegals,
is factors
though.
in.
We take
Illegals
our
are factors in, and that's why they have refugee camps, and then they process them because there is a whole process.
And we don't send many home.
Yeah, we do, but
Do we?
the ones that are in dangerous situations, they don't. They certainly don't. But I mean, my auntie can't come over. Like, she's tried 100 times, but you know.
What, she wants to come
she's
over
from
in a
England.
boat?
No, not in a boat, but she wants to come over legally, and she's not allowed to. But anyway, you said about the trip to certain death, and they obviously won't do it. Yes, they will. These people are so desperate to get out of these countries. They will still hop on the boat with the smugglers and fund the smugglers, and then they'll die because, it's just stupid. It's not the way to think. These people are desperate. They do need our help. Whether or not we need to take all of them in, and yes, I don't disagree that something needs to be done. Are we taking too many people? But we don't bomb them. We
don't do that to people.
It's extremist.
That is extremist. We are not
But is it actually going to be? Look, being cold, it's going to be far more negative than positive any way you look at it. Don't even worry about it.
Something needs to be done about the smugglers. The smugglers are bad people. The smugglers are criminals. The smugglers risk these people's lives because they take advantage of their desperation.
And they're being convicted.
And
they are being convicted.
They are being convicted.
We've seen one case already this month.
We need to go back to the country and talk about how we help these people's situations, whether we can do that through the UN. But there's other solutions. That is not the solution. So,
Candice?
Working in the media industry myself as a journalist, I can tell you it wouldn't just be the so-called left-wing media having a field day. All the media would be having a field day because it's an awful thing to do.
Yeah,
Full
just
stop.
mass murder.
I also think you clearly have very little knowledge of world affairs. I did make the point in the break that, hey, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, where these people are coming from, they have a lot more people than us. And not only that, Indonesia sometimes buys the military weapons that we've used, that we've had. They could crush us. But they probably wouldn't, so...
Keep them friendly.
Yeah, not necessarily friendly. We've got to stick up for ourselves, but let's not cause any unnecessary dramas. I don't know what the answer is, but the answer ain't that.
Ain't that. Jess, last word.
I also think a lot of these refugees who are actually coming over illegally are actually leaving from quite desperate situations.
Absolutely,
war-torn countries. They're striving to have a better life over here. For their family and stuff. So it's not. They actually don't have anywhere else to go. This is
pretty mean,
really the only
come
option.
Up with something like that.
And quite frankly, Peter, given your stance on this debate, you can consider your opinion torpedoed.
Yeah, very good. Land of plenty. All right, Jess, which letter do you like to give away the pair of limited edition sunnies, courtesy of Alan Treves and Aussie Opticals? Do you like dear old Iris of Toowoomba, or do you like Peter?
I will have to definitely go with Iris.
Iris? Dennis doesn't crack a mention. Iris? Dennis? Iris?
Her heart's in the right place.
Iris? Iris of Toowoomba?
As much as I like Iris, Peter B, you need some clearer thinking, bro.
The majority go for Iris. We're going to have to go. Candice, been good having you on the show.
Pleasure as always. Yes,
Jess, you enjoy it?
Sure did.
We'll have you back. Nice to see you again, AJ. All right, good luck with the sleep factor.
Thanks.
Hello, mate. We'll
Hi.
see you again too.
Yes, absolutely.
Good on you,
Thank
Perrie.
you for having
All
me.
right. Thank all of our wonderful panellists. Thank our terrific crew. And thanks for having us at home tonight, Australia. Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night. Thank you.
How's that?